Can you see them?
Terry so moves for approval.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Larry second that, did he? Okay.
You're good to go.
We'll start the 239 referrals. How do you want to do it, Patrice? You want to?
Okay, so I'm gonna show everybody received the information that I sent earlier today.
Yes.
This is what I sent out. I'm closing the minutes. So if you all have that, then I will pull up the projects and we'll go through my summary. So the first one is 2020V. It's a Town of Clover Planning Board. I just have to juggle a little bit just to do this, so bear with me. Okay, so the applicant is Kevin Pomfun, Keeler's Eskimo Bar. It's located right here, and it's the intersection in the hamlet of Cloverick, Route 23B and 9H. The Cloverick Library's here, and this is what was currently most recently operated as Keeler's Eskimo Bar. There's a
I'm not seeing your plans.
We're not seeing that.
You're not seeing them?
No.
Oswaldo, what happens? Okay, there we are, share. So I did that, but present now. Still not showing up. No, it's not showing up.
No.
How about now?
Now.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, great. Okay, so here is the intersection in Clover Hamlet of 23 and 9H. This is going towards, Hillsdale. This is going towards Hudson. And Keeler's Eskimo Bar is the existing business that's being modified and being sold. So it's right here. Everybody's familiar with that, okay? So issuance of a special exception permit. They're modifying an existing use. That's within 500 feet of a state highway. I'm going to pull up the site plan now. Let's see. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the existing site plan here, and I'm going to try and blow this up a little bit if I can. Let's see.
Can you turn it? Can you rotate it?
You don't see it rotated?
No, it's sideways.
It's sideways for me.
It looks right to me. How about now?
Still the same.
Okay.
Good move.
Oswaldo, how come they can't see what I'm doing? Well, that I do. Okay, so present now and then my entire screen. Okay. So how is that? It's the wrong direction though, right? Can you see it now?
Nothing
No.
happened. We can't see anything now.
Is that the proper orientation?
It didn't come through.
No.
We're back to faces.
It says share your screen and I hit the share. No, it's gray. What do you guys see now?
You.
Just your smiling face.
Oh, come on, really? All right. Try it again. So present now. My entire screen. The share button stays gray. Okay, that's what I missed. Sorry. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Happening now.
All righty. Here we go. Okay. How's that?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good.
Okay, great. So this is the existing configuration with the structure. And so the modifications that they're proposing to make are to control the access off of 9H to a 24-foot width with curbing. Right now it's wide open and cars pull in, any point along the property line. They're also looking to add a outdoor wood fire propane combination barbecue smoker that's located right here. There are 2 dumpsters in the rear. They're also changing the orientation of the parking. All people park now currently along this front section. So they are making that little section for ADA accessible into standard parking spaces, and then making the diagonal parking along the side of the parcel.
And how do you get out?
Here, they're controlling the width. It's going to be tricky.
But you're
because-
angled parking and then you got to turn around to come back out that same entrance?
Yeah, because this is a steep slope. I don't know if you've ever been here, but this is a pretty steep
I
slope to
see
the
that.
rear of the parcel. And there's no opportunity to drive around. There's a retaining wall back here. It's a tie wall.
How many parking spaces are they looking to get?
I think it's like 9 or 10. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's like about 9.
12 total.
9,
I don't know where they're going to
10,
get
11,
them. Oh, I
12.
see,
You
yeah, on the
got
south
two
side,
ADA
yeah.
and one other one there.
Boy, I don't know how they're going to get that backed around there, though. Boy.
If they've got 12 people in there, I don't
I
want to
also-
be in there.
I also have a question of parking over the leach field.
Yeah,
Those spots on the right-hand side, they are right over the leach field.
yeah, the leach field's in the corner, right? South corner.
Yep.
Yeah,
They're parking there now.
well, that's true.
They're parking there
Are they?
now. Yeah.
The whole thing is like the Wild West.
Boy,
And it's
gonna be tight.
gravel, so it's not pavement, it's gravel.
It's gravel. It's gravel now, and it's going to continue to be gravel, except for this little apron in the front here where the access is.
When they're really busy, people park across the road a lot.
That's
So
on the
since
library
it's gravel, none of those lines are going to be there, are they?
No, they aren't. So
It's
it
gonna-
would be my guess that people will probably continue along with the same pattern that they currently park.
Yep.
right.
They're just going to pull in like they do now and park along the front. But this is going to be a little bit, a little tricky because it's with this tightening this access, the way that cars are circulate in here now, they won't be able to have that much maneuverability like we said before. So,
Compact cars only.
well, they get a lot of trucks, I can tell you that. But
If it
You need
wasn't
like
for
a
the
zero
curbing,
turn
though, they
mower
could
to
do
go
it,
in
but
there.
That curbing is going to kill them.
I think that's DOT. That's another comment I think that we need to add about the access that DOT approval is required for this, and also the comments about the internal circulation and the parking configuration.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You gonna put that on your comments?
I am a parking internal circulation parking configuration, and then DOT approval for the access. So I'm adding the 2 comments, so there will be 4. The first 2, the one comment, first of all, we didn't find out if there was any countywide impact from this, and then the comments are are now 4 comments. The parking and the internal configuration, the New York State DOT access, an approval for that. New York State Liquor Authority approval for alcoholic beverages, because that's one of the things that they're proposing to add in phases is the serving of alcohol, beer, wine, and cider. And they're proposing to phase that in. They didn't provide information on over what period of time they're phasing, adding the alcoholic beverages. And they're also adding some other outdoor movie showing over on this one side, and then also a bocce board and a shuffleboard, which I don't really know where they would have space for that, but seems like a lot in that part.
Maybe they're gonna do the bocce board on that steep slope in the back.
It'll be challenging.
So
Hey.
Oh, this is gonna be more of a year-round thing, right?
that I don't know. It's seasonal right now. I don't know if they're making it year round.
We should mention snow removal if it is year-round.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that's-
they got no place to push it.
I mean, I think it sounds just what I read, it sounds more like a year-round, right? Because you're able to sit down inside too, right? Wasn't it, or is it just all window?
the whole front are windows. They are to about right about here. This is like a little overhang in the front,
Right.
and this is all enclosed in the back. There's access to the kitchen from this side, and then a restroom over here.
Yeah.
This is an enclosed patio with it's open all around, and they're going to add fencing around that apparently to control that.
Okay.
If they're gonna put 12 cars in there, it's gonna be a busy, tight little place.
Yeah. So we have the 5 comments.
5 comments, correct.
I'm gonna park next door.
We need it across the street.
Right.
It's a bigger lot, actually. So, somebody like to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion.
Gary, so
I'll second that.
simple decision, with the comments, Ed Stifler seconds it.
Who's second? Who's the second?
Ed did.
Ed.
All those in favor?
Why?
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay.
We have to do everything efficient, guys. This is going on to the YouTube. Tell all your friends.
For public access, right? And so this is being live streamed on YouTube right now. So,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm going to close these out so we have less. Okay. So the next one is 20-021V. It is Luckless Enterprises LLC. It's the Town of Livingston Planning Board is the referring agency. It's located at 43 Cold Spring Road. Let me pull that graphic up. This is the existing parcel configuration. It's a triangular lot. And they're proposing to subdivide it into 2 parcels, which is not part of our review, but this parcel 2 is where the proposed development will occur. It's approval of a site plan and issuance of a special use permit, and they're proposing construction of a wellness retreat. The existing zoning is LDR2, and the existing land use is agriculture. It's currently being used primarily for an orchard, and the surrounding is ag and residential. And they're proposing on this subdivided parcel, the 10-acre section, this is what's being proposed. 6 500 square foot guest suites and 1 3,500 square feet maintenance building. And the special use permit is required for they're calling it Figment Hudson Valley, short-term rental property with those 7 buildings. This building will be used for storage for linens, pantry items, and merchandise intended for sale in these guest rooms. We have the parking area over here, and access is off of Cold Spring Road, which is a town road. It's a proposed new access road, and it is not proposed to be paved. They're intending to site these structures within the orchard amongst the trees, if you will. And they would be connected by footpaths, brick footpaths.
Now, these buildings, I was told that they were going to be storage containers. Is that right?
Well, that's what it looks like. From the information here showing the section elevations of the buildings, that's what it appears to be. That wasn't specifically laid out in the application materials that was submitted to us. But this is a section elevation of the structures.
But they're pushed into the ground, it looks like.
It does look that way.
You just drop them from the air.
Now, this is an existing orchard. How are they going to? This is an existing orchard. How are they going to spray this and stuff if they're going to have these buildings in here?
I don't know. They're
They're being sprayed now, unless they're going to go organic and not spray anything. I don't know.
That could be. I don't really know. There wasn't anything about the continuation of the farming aspect of it. But it would be a 2-person per suite with a maximum 12 people if they're all occupied. There's 10 parking spaces proposed over here, and there's proposing on-lot well and septic system, and they're proposing to discharge stormwater into an on-site stream. Most of the property is prime farmland or prime farmland if drained. That's a character type of soil that's present on the site. And for LDR2, the application reads that it's a hotel inn. They are not proposing any on-site staff. The guests would access the structures with a smart lock. Apparently, there would be staff nearby that would be available if the need arose. So we didn't find any countywide impact from this. We do have some comments. Let me see if I can bring up the other. I'm looking for my other drawing here. Who's got a dog?
So the guests are just on their own for their own wellness?
Yes, for their own wellness.
This has the look of Airbnb.
It looks to me like it's an expanded Airbnb,
I
yes.
think it is.
So I mentioned the soils. So this is a map of the soils on site. As I mentioned, the prime farmland is this brown. Quite important is this golden color, sepia color, and then this is the prime farmland if drained. But there's a little bit of a wetland area back there as well. We didn't find a countywide or inter-CUNY impact from this. A couple of comments let me go back to this. That the special use permit application submitted lists requested use as in hotel. And a hotel is defined as a building or any part thereof which contains living and sleeping accommodations for transient occupancy and has a common exterior entrance or entrances which may contain one or more dining rooms. And an inn is defined in the Livingston zoning law as a single structure affording accommodation such as lodging and food. And there's also another definition of motel, which is defined as a building or group of buildings containing individual living and sleeping accommodations for hire, each of which is provided with a separate exterior entrance. It appears that this proposed use would be more clear, well defined if it were the application is for a motel as opposed to a hotel inn. So suggesting the town consider that. The second comment is ag data statement. New York Ag and Markets Law 305A sets forth that application for a special use permit, site plan review, or subdivision requiring municipal approval and review occurring on property within a state certified ag district containing a farm operation within boundaries within 500 feet of a farm operation located in an ag district shall include ag data statement. This one does. It's an ag district 10, and an ag data statement was not included with the application.
Okay.
As far as drainage, for suggesting that the project be evaluated for compliance with DEC regulations regarding the need for a stormwater pollution prevention plan. Emergency access, suggesting that the local fire chief review the site plan for adequate emergency access. For the health department, we're suggesting that the applicant contact the health department to determine if the project meets the criteria for a public water system and for proper sizing and design of the wastewater treatment system and the other requirements regarding transient lodging. Number 6, utilities, suggesting that the applicant provide information regarding the location of electrical service and any other utility connections and delineate those on the site plan. Number 7, circulation and access, suggesting that the applicant provide information on proposed access and circulation for the individual units. They said in the narrative that there would be little brick pathways, but nothing is shown on the site plans that were submitted to us. Also provide information for number 8 for ADA compliance, that the applicant provide information on how they would comply with ADA, and signage, suggesting that they provide information, they propose signage, and that add the location to the site plan. So those 9 comments.
Anybody else have any questions?
I don't see anything on here about a permit for the driveway from the town road.
Right, the town road.
Yeah, but they got to get a permit from the town to get a site distance. I don't see any problem with a site distance there because it's straight, but I mean, they got to get a permit for the town access.
And so they don't show any walkways or
It's just that one path,
just one path to connect them all.
and then you're on your own.
Neat. Okay. Okay. Well, if no other questions or comments. Looking for a motion. I'll move for local decision with the comment.
I'll second.
Larry seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Carried.
Okay. Okay, so the next one is 20022B. The Town of Chatham Planning Board, Abbas Yagubi for Saba Vineyards. It's located on 338 Pitts Road. Get the site plan up. Which is this parcel here. These are also under the same ownership, these 2 parcels. And
That's his parking.
There's a lot of photos, so I'll just,
Yeah. I noticed that.
we'll get through this. So it's to establish a winery with tasting room and a shop. Approval of a site plan within 500 feet of an existing or county road. It's located in Ag District 10. The existing zoning is RL2. The existing land use is ag. Surrounding is ag and residential. Get that other map back up showing the land use. Which shows the different land use classifications for adjacent parcels. So they're required to establish, a site plan review is required to establish a wine tasting use in an existing structure. And as a business event venue with an existing ag use, which is growing grapes. Now, they were issued a cease and desist order for operating a business event venue without a permit or approval last August. So they've been trying to rectify that, and they've been working with the town to receive to site plan review and approval for this existing use. See if I can get back to the pictures here. Okay. It's 30 by 75, and it's used for making and storing the wine. Let's see if I can get to that first. Sorry. This is the best. Just kidding. Here we go. So here's the existing structure. And here's a fence, and they have a 15-acre parking area. They have the Saba signage by the access road. I'll get to those photos so I can show you the.
Looks like they were having events with tents or something there.
Been in business for a while, I believe.
It's been in business for a while, exactly. So
Illegally, really.
here we go. Okay, so this is the access.
Okay, now
This
you're
is
back.
signage. This is the stone wall that's at the entrance, and this white fence is part of which surrounds the field or pasture that they use for parking. Now, there's another photo of that, and this is the access road with signage. Continuing down the road. This is the existing structure, the exterior of that structure. Now, 80% of the wine that's sold here and tasted here is produced on site. The tasting room will have tables with and chairs and a little display area, which would have a capacity for 50 people. They are saying that they aren't going to rent the premises to the public. It's only used for private events only. This is the interior, part of the interior of the tasting room. You can see the wine barrels. And then this is another view of it with the tables that are there. And then it looks like a little cashier station here with the wine is kind of a bar. And some more of their awards on the table. Fire extinguisher, excuse me, and then display area with products that are sold in this tasting room with additional tables. More barrels of wine. The exterior patio with additional seating. HVAC ducts on the ceiling,
Got a smoke detector.
smoke detector, yes.
Yeah.
They have exterior floodlights. And as I mentioned, the parking is in a grassy field. It's 15 acres that are dedicated there. There's one area which has gravel, which is used for the primary parking, and then there's additional area in that field for overflow. The gravel area is set to be able to accommodate 25 cars. There's an existing on-lot septic system, 1,000 gallons for the restrooms in the tasting room. It was inspected. Apparently, there was a letter included with the referral that it had been inspected, and as a result of that, it was found to be slightly undersized. So they put in a new 1,500 gallon tank. And there's signage is existing. It's freestanding, and you see the lighting here. We didn't find there's any countywide impact from this. Noting that the winery has approval from the New York State Liquor Authority, there's a certificate of that included with the application.
Wouldn't they? I thought that they didn't give those permits out until the town signed off on things.
This is, I don't know why they were able to obtain the permit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would they have had it from their venue permit?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's somewhat of a recent requirement,
Is it?
Tim. Yeah,
So the permit is valid through 3/31/2022. So the first comment is noting that this is in place currently, that the suggestion of the signage be delineated on the site plan, but this, and then the septic system also, that it should be noting that it was inspected and upgraded to accommodate the uses, the existing uses. They're the only three comments that we have.
Seems like
I'd
a
like to
local
add one other-
decision.
Pardon?
It seems
I'd
a
like to add
local-
one other comment, Patrice.
Okay.
These things have a tendency to grow in density and activities. I think it'd be a great idea if they had a professionally prepared site plan on file with the town to make sure they can control the growth of this.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I do too. That's
Yeah.
a very good idea.
At least something upgraded from the put together thing. Record we have.
Yeah, because the only plan was submitted was the interior floor plan for the tasting room and that little sketch that I showed you before that was hand drawn, this one.
That makes sense.
Cheryl, were you going to say something?
Yeah, sure. Local decision with those comments, including they need to have an actual plan.
Okay. So Cheryl so moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Steve seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you. Okay, so it brings us to the last one. It's 20023V, the Village of Kinderhook. The local, excuse me, I need a sip. It's a local law amending the zoning. It's proposed local law of 2020 for the Village of Kinderhook. It's amending the code to add regulation to chapter 13016G entitled Fences and Walls. They're proposing, the purpose of this local law is to amend the zoning law to as the fence height for properties abutting the Hudson Electric Trail. So this is the Village of Kinderhook, and this line here, the green and white, is the location of the Albany Hudson Electric Trail. This
What is that? That's like an abandoned power line that's been turned into a trail?
it's a National Grid NIMO right of way that's being converted to a multi-use trail. It will be part of the network of the Empire State Trail. And we saw this access point by Stewart's. We did the Stewart's project a few months back, if you recall. And that was right here, the beginning of it, right here, where it goes off-road at this little purple area right here. So the shaded parcels are the parcels that would be where this proposed local law would apply. It would apply to right now the abutters are having some issues with privacy, and they are having to obtain variance for proposed fencing. The current village zoning law provides for a 6-foot fence. So the people, the abutters here have been required to obtain variances in order to obtain higher fences. So in order to alleviate that and to provide some relief for the people along the trail to provide for privacy, it would allow for 8-foot fence for those parcels whose side or rear yard are along the trail. The village recognizes the benefit of the trail, but wants the residents to be able to maintain their privacy and to enjoy their property and to avoid trespassing on their property. And they're anticipating that this may attract a number of visitors on a regular basis. We didn't find any countywide impact with this. And the one comment is it's unclear how close the edge of the property line is to the actual pathway. So just making the suggestion that they consider for setback between the proposed fence and the edge of the path might be necessary.
More for maintenance than anything else.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Maintenance, but also just for the use of the trail. God, if it's right on a line, you've got an 8-foot fence on both sides. Why would anybody want to go there?
Right. Yeah. Well, this parcel is a municipal property, but all of these are all.
I mean, the small residential, I definitely would understand, but those open farms, that's kind of the beauty of the trail. But
yeah, so this whole section here are all residential, and this is open field, and this is a municipal park. This is part of a park for the town, for the village, excuse me. And these parcels here, there's a little road that is between, this is these parcels and the trail. So this is actually the front yard of these houses here. And then there's a road that accesses these parcels, and then the trail's on the other side. So the change in the fence height that would be permitted wouldn't apply to these here.
Okay. So does anybody have any questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll entertain a motion.
Larry so moves.
I'll second it.
Terry seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried.
So that's the last referral that we had. I did want to just mention there's a couple of training sessions that are coming up. These were scheduled originally for May over at Greene County, but because of the impact of COVID and social distancing, they've been taken to become virtual training sessions, and there are two. The first one is June 4th. And it's short-term rentals, and it would be from beginning at 3:00. And this provides I sent the link out with this information this week. And the second session would be Spot Zone or grant the illegal use variance, and that's June 25th, and that begins at 3 p.m. as well. The session originally had a couple of other training sessions involved with it. There were two for online training of the viewers in Greene County and in Columbia County. They had to be removed because they really need to be an in-person training product. We're in Columbia County. We're developing a web version of that to conduct a webinar, but it isn't completed yet, so we could incorporate it with these. So that's really all I have at this point. I thank you all for your patience.
There are a lot of
presentation here.
There are a lot of webinars out there. If you guys, if you see one and you listen to the whole thing, keep track of it, and we'll work out how you get credited for it with the board of supervisors if we need to.
I did that solar sighting, and it was interesting, but they said that they would have it online, sort of, you could refer to it later, and I even corresponded.
We had a board of directors meeting just last week on Thursday, which was right a couple days after that, and she's in the Barbara Stimmel, the executive director's in the process of getting that up. So keep checking the Federation website.
Okay.
And it'll be there shortly. The other thing is they are putting together a lot of other webinars. Capital District Regional Planning Commission is putting a lot of interesting things together. There's a lot of the weird thing is they're all putting them on in the middle of the day.
Yes.
I guess I figured Larry's available. He can make it. I don't know.
Yeah, right. I got
going too far these days.
Well, everybody's been available lately.
For people that aren't working.
And I did hear rumors that the state had canceled the 4-hour requirement for this year, but I have nothing in writing yet on that. But stay tuned. But keep doing the webinars. But thank you all.
Are we going to be able to have a June meeting?
A June meeting.
Yeah. This month, I mean, they're opening things up tomorrow. I mean, so I don't know if we're going to be able to have meetings or not. I mean, 10 people or less. So.
We haven't been given the go-ahead for that yet. We're still working remotely, and until the county is.
Who makes that decision? The county supervisors or what?
Yeah, the Board of Supervisors. They're developing right now. They're working on a strategy to get people back to work, but we're not even eligible to go back to our office yet. I think we are part of the phase 2 of the reopening, unplugging New York Forward.
Yeah, that's what we are also, Patrice.
So we, the phase 1 begins on Wednesday for those businesses and industries, and we would be in phase 2. So that's at least
2 weeks.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so that puts us into middle of June. So I'm guessing that it will be a phased. We were phased out when we left. We were at a 25, 50, 75. I'm assuming that they'll phase us back in the reverse order, but I don't know. We haven't received that information yet, so I can't say.
I'd like to thank Oswaldo for helping set this up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Oswaldo. Yeah.
And I think you did a great job. I haven't done one of these yet with my planning board, although they've been threatening, but I haven't done it yet. Postponing people again.
Let them threaten.
After doing it, I'll change a few things. How I presented it was. Now I know a little bit more what I need to do. So I thank you for your patience because I tried my best. So
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well,
And Steve, happy belated
Thank you.
birthday, Steve.
Pardon?
I said happy belated birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, Patrice.
And Cheryl, I hope you keep feeling better.
Thank you. I'm not sure I'll make it to in-person meetings so fast, but this kind of worked. I could lie
Yeah, well,
down.
thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you all, and have a good
All
evening.
right.
Okay,
Everybody
bye.
stay healthy.
stay healthy, everybody.
Thank
Pam,
you.
can I call you on your cell phone number?